My name is Clara. I am 32 years old. I live with my husband, Mark, in a small, quiet house with a little garden. Our life was simple. It was calm. I thought it was happy. But for many months, I did not feel right. I was always tired. Waking up in the morning was hard. My body felt heavy, like I had not slept at all. Sometimes, in the middle of the day, I would suddenly feel dizzy. The room would spin for a moment. I would have to sit down and wait for it to pass. Mark was very worried. He is a kind man, or so I believed. He would look at me with sad eyes and say, "Clara, you need to see a doctor. I am worried about you." I told him it was probably just stress. I worked in a small bookshop, and sometimes it was busy. "I just need more rest," I would say. But he did not agree. He said, "No, this is not normal. Please, for me, let's go to a doctor." He found a new doctor for me. His name was Dr. Evans. Mark said his friend recommended him. He said Dr. Evans was the best. I did not want to go, but Mark insisted. He made the appointment. He took a day off from his work to come with me. He held my hand in the car. He said, "Everything will be okay. We will find out what is wrong." His hand was warm, but mine was cold. I was nervous. Dr. Evans' office was very clean and modern. It did not feel like a normal doctor's office. It felt expensive. The chairs were soft leather. The walls had beautiful paintings. Dr. Evans was a tall man with gray hair and a serious face. But when he spoke, his voice was soft. He asked me many questions. "How long have you felt this way? When do you feel dizzy? Do you have any pain?" I answered all his questions. Mark sat beside me, listening to every word. He looked more worried than I was. Then the doctor checked me. He listened to my heart. He checked my blood pressure. He asked me to walk in a straight line. I did everything he asked. After about 20 minutes, he sat back at his big wooden desk. He looked at his notes. The room was very quiet. I could hear my own heart beating fast. Mark squeezed my hand. Finally, Dr. Evans looked up. He smiled a big, friendly smile. His whole face changed. He looked warm and kind. "Mrs. Miller," he said, using my married name, "I have good news. There is nothing wrong with you. You are perfectly healthy." I could not believe it. "Healthy?" I asked. "But I feel so tired all the time." He nodded. "Yes, I understand. But all your tests are normal. Your heart is strong. Your blood pressure is perfect. Sometimes, our minds can make our bodies feel tired. You are probably just stressed or a little anxious. You need a vacation, maybe." I felt a wave of relief wash over me. I was so happy. I smiled at Mark. He smiled back, but his smile seemed a little strange. It did not reach his eyes, but I was too happy to think about it. "Thank you, doctor," I said. "Thank you so much." I felt light, like a big weight was lifted from my shoulders. I was not sick. I was just stressed. That was an easy problem to fix. We stood up to leave. Mark shook the doctor's hand. he said. "Thank you, doctor. You have made us very happy." We walked out of the office into the waiting area. I wanted to go home and celebrate. Maybe we could cook a special dinner. Mark said to me, "Clara, wait here for one moment. I forgot to ask the doctor something about the payment." I nodded and sat on one of the leather chairs. I looked at a magazine, but I was not really reading it. I was just thinking about the good news. I was healthy. The door to the doctor's office was not completely closed. I could see a small space. I saw Mark go back inside. He did not say anything. He just reached into his coat pocket. He pulled out a thick white envelope. He gave it to Dr. Evans. The doctor took the envelope and quickly put it in his desk drawer without looking inside. He nodded at Mark. Then Mark turned and walked out of the room, closing the door behind him. He came back to me, smiling. "Okay, let's go," he said. My mind was suddenly not happy anymore. It was confused. An envelope, full of money. Why? Why would my husband give the doctor an envelope full of money after our appointment? The receptionist was at the front desk. People usually pay there. They pay with a card or cash, and they get a receipt. But Mark gave him a secret envelope. On the car ride home, I was quiet. The happiness was gone. It was replaced by a strange, cold feeling in my stomach. Mark was talking happily. "I feel so much better, Clara. I was so worried. Now we know you are fine. We should plan that vacation the doctor talked about. Where do you want to go?" "The beach, the mountains." I looked at him. "Mark," I said slowly, "why did you give the doctor an envelope?" His face changed. He stopped smiling. He kept his eyes on the road. "What are you talking about?" he asked. His voice was different. It was defensive. "I saw you," I said. "You went back into his office. You gave him a white envelope. It looked like it was full of money." He was quiet for a long moment. The car was silent, except for the sound of the engine. Then he sighed. "Oh, that," he said. "It's nothing to worry about. Dr. Evans is an old friend of a colleague. He has some financial problems. I was just helping him out. It was a loan. A loan to a doctor with a fancy office and leather chairs." It did not make sense. "A loan?" I asked. "Why would you give a doctor a loan in secret, right after my appointment?" "Clara, please," he said. His voice was firm. "It's a private matter. He is embarrassed about his problems." I promised I would be discreet. "Can we please just be happy that you are healthy? Let's not ruin this good day with silly questions." Silly questions. He called my questions silly. I felt a little angry, but also confused. Mark had never been dishonest with me before. I wanted to believe him. I really did. It was easier to believe him than to believe something else. Something dark. So I said, "Okay." I said okay. But in my heart, I was not okay at all. The cold feeling did not go away. The next few weeks were strange. I tried to be happy. I tried to believe I was healthy. I told myself, "The doctor said you are fine." Mark said it was a loan. Stop thinking about it. I went to work. I smiled at customers. I read books. But the tiredness did not go away. In fact, it got worse. I started to get headaches. They were dull, but they were always there, behind my eyes. One afternoon, I was putting books on a high shelf in the bookshop. I suddenly felt very dizzy. The world turned black for a second. I dropped the books. They fell to the floor with a loud crash. My boss, a kind older woman named Mrs. Gable, ran over. "Clara, are you all right?" she asked. I held onto the shelf, my heart pounding. "Yes, I think so. I just felt a little dizzy." She looked at me with concern. "This is happening a lot, isn't it? You should really see a doctor." "I did," I said quietly. "He said I was perfectly healthy." She frowned. "Well, perfectly healthy people don't almost faint in the middle of a bookshop. Maybe you should get a second opinion." A second opinion. The thought was scary. It meant I did not trust my husband. It meant I did not trust the doctor. But Mrs. Gable was right. What was happening to me was not normal. That night, I told Mark about what happened at work. He hugged me. "Oh, my poor Clara," he said. "You are working too hard. The doctor said you need to rest. Maybe you should take some time off." He was so caring, so loving. But his solution was always the same: rest. He never suggested seeing another doctor. He never seemed to think that Dr. Evans could be wrong. It was like he was holding onto the words, "perfectly healthy," even more than I was. I started to feel like I was living in a fog. My body was telling me one thing, but my husband and my doctor were telling me another. I started to doubt myself. Maybe I was crazy. Maybe I was imagining it all. Maybe I just wanted attention. These were terrible thoughts, and they made me feel very lonely. One evening, Mark was in the shower. His phone was on the bedside table. It buzzed with a message. I never looked at his phone. I trusted him. But that night, the cold feeling in my stomach was stronger than my trust. My hand was shaking as I picked it up. The message was from a number I did not recognize. It said, "The next payment is due next week. Please don't be late." Payment, not a loan. A payment. My heart started to beat very fast. Who was this message from? I quickly looked through his call history. He had called this number many times, and he had many calls with another number saved as Dr. Evans. I put the phone down just as the shower turned off. My hands were cold and sweaty. Mark came out of the bathroom, a towel around his waist. He smiled at me. "Everything okay, honey? You look pale." I forced a smile. "Yes, just tired." That night, I could not sleep. I lay in bed, pretending to be asleep, while my mind raced. Payments. A secret envelope. A doctor who said I was healthy when I was clearly not. What was happening? Why would Mark do this? The only answer I could think of was terrifying. Was he trying to hurt me? Did he want me to be sick? It sounded like something from a movie, not my life. Not my quiet, simple life with my kind husband. The next day, I knew I had to do something. I could not live in this fog of confusion and fear anymore. I needed the truth. I remembered what Mrs. Gable said. A second opinion. I did not tell Mark. I found a women's clinic in the next town. It was a public clinic, not a fancy private one. I made an appointment using my maiden name, my name before I was married. I told Mrs. Gable I was taking a sick day. I felt like a spy in my own life. I took a bus to the other town. My heart was pounding the whole way. I was so scared. What if this doctor also said I was healthy? Then I would know for sure that I was going crazy. The clinic was busy and a little crowded. It was very different from Dr. Evans' office. The doctor was a woman named Dr. Anya Sharma. She was young, with kind, intelligent eyes. She did not rush me. She listened. I told her everything. About the tiredness, the dizziness, the headaches. I did not tell her about Dr. Evans, or Mark, or the envelope. I just told her about my symptoms. She listened carefully, nodding. She wrote down notes. When I finished, she looked at me and said, "It sounds like you have been going through a very difficult time. It takes courage to seek help. We are going to figure this out together." For the first time in a long time, I felt like someone believed me. I started to cry. Not loud sobs, just quiet tears that ran down my face. She gave me a tissue and waited patiently. Dr. Sharma did not just do a simple checkup. She ordered many tests. Blood tests, a scan of my head, and other things I did not understand. She said, "I don't want to scare you, but your symptoms are serious. We need to be thorough. We need to rule out certain conditions." I went for the tests. It took a few days for the results to come back. Those were the longest days of my life. I went to work and pretended everything was normal. Mark was extra nice to me. He brought me flowers. He cooked my favorite dinner. He kept saying, "See, you are feeling better, aren't you? A little rest is all you needed." I just smiled and nodded. But inside, I felt like I was screaming. Finally, the day came to get my results. I took the bus back to Dr. Sharma's clinic. I sat in the waiting room, my hands clenched into fists. My name was called. I walked into her office. Dr. Sharma was not smiling. She had a serious look on her face. She asked me to sit down. My whole body was shaking. "Clara," she said gently, "we have the results from your tests. I need to be honest with you. You are not perfectly healthy. You have an illness. It is a neurological condition. It affects your nerves and causes the symptoms you have been feeling." I stared at her. I was not crazy. I was sick. A strange feeling of relief mixed with terror washed over me. She continued, "The condition is serious. But the good news is, it is treatable. There are medications that can help manage it. People with this condition can live full, normal lives. But treatment should have started a long time ago. The earlier we start, the better the outcome. From your symptoms, It seems you have had this for at least a year. Why didn't your last doctor catch this?" Her question hung in the air. I took a deep breath. And then the whole story came out. I told her about Dr. Evans. I told her about Mark. I told her about the white envelope full of money. As I spoke, Dr. Sharma's kind face turned into a look of shock and then anger. "He did what?" she said, her voice low and sharp. "He told you that you were healthy, and your husband paid him. That is not just wrong, Clara. That is illegal. That is malpractice. He put your life in danger." Hearing her say it out loud made it real. My husband, the man who promised to love and protect me. He paid a doctor to lie to me about a serious illness. He watched me get sicker every day. He told me I was crazy. Dr. Sharma gave me a prescription for the medication. She gave me a pamphlet about my condition. She also gave me the name of a lawyer. "You need to report Dr. Evans," she said. "And you need to be very careful, Clara. I don't know why your husband did this, but it is not the act of a loving person." I walked out of the clinic in a daze. I had the truth now. The truth was ugly and painful. It was a monster that was now sitting in my life. I took the bus home. I did not cry. I was beyond tears. I was filled with a cold, hard anger. When I got home, Mark was in the kitchen, humming a happy tune. He was chopping vegetables for dinner. He looked up and smiled when he saw me. "Hi, honey. How was your day?" I walked over to the kitchen counter. I put the prescription and the pamphlet down in front of him. I did not say a word. He looked at the papers. He read the name of the medication. He read the title of the pamphlet, "Understanding Your Neurological Condition." His face went white. The knife fell from his hand and clattered onto the floor. He stared at the papers, then at me. His mouth opened, but no words came out. "I know," I said. My voice was quiet, but it was strong. It did not shake. "I know everything, Mark." He sank into a chair. He put his head in his hands. "Clara, I can explain." "Explain," I said. My voice got a little louder. "Explain what?" "Explain why you paid a doctor to let me get sick. Explain why you lied to me every single day. Explain why you let me think I was losing my mind. What is there to explain?" He started to cry. Big, choking sobs. "I was scared," he cried. "I was so scared, Clara." "Scared of what?" I demanded. "Of losing you," he said, looking up at me, his face wet with tears. My mother, she had the same condition. I watched her suffer. I watched her get worse and worse. When you started having the same symptoms, I was terrified. I couldn't go through that again. I couldn't watch it happen to you. I just stared at him. This was his reason. He continued, his words rushing out. I thought if we didn't know, if we just pretended you were healthy, maybe it would go away. I know it sounds crazy. I know. But I was so scared. I found Dr. Evans. He was in debt. He needed money. I told him I would pay him if he just told us you were fine. I just wanted a little more time. A little more time with you being happy and healthy. I didn't want our life to become about hospitals and medicine. I listened to his pathetic, selfish excuse. He did not do it for me. He did it for himself, to protect himself from his own fear. He was willing to sacrifice my health, my life, to avoid his own discomfort. He chose his own peace over my well-being. Your mother, I said, my voice cold as ice. Did she have treatment? Yes, but you decided I didn't deserve it. I finished for him. You decided to play God with my life because you were scared. The love I felt for him, the trust, the shared memories of our life together, they all crumbled to dust in that moment. I looked at the man crying in my kitchen, and I did not know him. He was a stranger, a monster who wore the face of my kind husband. I love you, Clara, he whispered. I love you so much. That's why I did it. No, I said, shaking my head. That is not love. Love does not lie. Love does not harm. Love faces fear together. It doesn't hide from it and let the person you love suffer alone. You didn't protect me. You betrayed me in the worst possible way. I walked past him and went into our bedroom. I took out a suitcase. I started to pack my clothes. He followed me, begging, Please, Clara, don't leave. We can fix this. I'll do anything. I'm so sorry. Please, forgive me. I turned to face him. Forgive you, Mark. The trust is gone. It is completely gone. Every time I look at you now, I will see the lie. I will see the envelope of money. I will remember every day I felt sick, and you told me I was fine. I can't live with that. I can't live with you. I finished packing my bag. I called Mrs. Gable. I told her what happened. She said, You come stay with me. You can stay as long as you need. I walked to the front door. Mark stood there, blocking my way, his face a mess of tears and desperation. Please, he begged one last time. Get out of my way, Mark, I said. My voice was calm and final. There was no more anger. There was just a vast, empty sadness. He slowly moved aside. I opened the door and walked out of the house. I did not look back. I left our simple, quiet life behind. It was never simple or quiet. It was built on a terrible lie. The first few months were hard. I lived with Mrs. Gable. I started my medication. At first, it made me feel sick, but slowly, my body started to heal. The dizziness went away. The headaches became less frequent. I started to feel stronger. I had more energy. I was becoming myself again. I also went to the lawyer Dr. Sharma recommended. We reported Dr. Evans. He lost his medical license. He deserved it. I filed for divorce from Mark. He did not fight it. He sent me messages saying he was sorry, that he was getting help for his issues. I never replied. His problems were not my problems anymore. Living through this taught me something very important. It taught me to trust myself. My body was telling me the truth all along. I should have listened to it, not to the lies of others. It also taught me that sometimes The people who are supposed to love us the most can hurt us the deepest. And true strength is not about ignoring problems. It is about facing them, even when you are scared. Now a year has passed. I have my own small apartment. I still work at the bookshop. My health is stable. I still have bad days, but now I know how to manage them. I am not a victim. I am a survivor. I found my own strength. I saved my own life. Sometimes people tell me I was too hard on Mark. They say he made a mistake because he loved me. But I know the truth. Love should feel safe. It should be honest. It should be a partnership. What Mark did was not love. It was control, born from fear. I am happy now in my new, honest life. It's a different kind of happiness. It's quieter, but it's real. It's mine. And I earned it. If you are ever in a situation where something feels wrong, please listen to that feeling. Trust your own voice. You are stronger than you think. You can face anything. You just have to believe in yourself first.